Hello, Divine Feminine. We are back for another reading for you today. First, excuse me for my little thing being here. Let me just get this lit up for you. We're going to take a quick look into, first of all, what is going on with your DM and their karmic situation, whatever that might be. If your DM is with another person, or if they have broken up with another person, or if they just have somebody that's kind of like coming in, coming out, they could potentially be married to someone else. There's a lot of karmic kinds of situations that your divine masculine could be involved in. So as the cards come through, you'll want to just kind of take a look and see how it applies through your perceptual lens and your own discernment to your divine masculine's karmic situation. Now, always keep in mind, the reason why I said your perceptual lens is you're the one who's looking at this karmic situation. You're the one who's listening to what's presented in the reading, and you're the one who's looking at the cards. And so this is going to be your perception of what is happening in your divine masculine's life. And why is this valuable to you? Is it valuable to you because it's important to know what's going on with your DM? I'm giving you guys a second to answer that in your head before I give you my answer to that question. So take a second to think about that. Is it important for you to understand what's going on with your DM so that you can see what's happening in their life? Or is there another reason? And the answer is no, it's not important for you to know exactly what's going on in their life. What's important is for you to understand how you're seeing and viewing and interpreting and experiencing what's going on in your DM's life. Because this is your journey, Divine Feminine. So when I do these readings, it's not because it's important for you to know what's happening in your DM's life. That's actually not what's important at all. What is important is how are you experiencing and perceiving it, because that is what the twin flame journey is all about. Your spiritual awakening, you waking up from the illusion and recognizing that you are the creator of your reality. So we'll start out with what's currently going on with your DM. What are they currently experiencing in the karmic relationship right now? So what we have here is 9 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so what your divine masculine is currently experiencing toward the karmic situation that they're involved in right now is that there is a lot of fear in this, kind of a paranoia. There's something about the karmic situation that makes them feel off and misaligned. There's a lot of defensiveness between them and whoever it is that they're dealing with. They've both done things to each other that has positioned them, I hate to use the word against each other, because I don't get the sense that they actually feel like they're against each other. But sometimes we do things to others, or they'll do things to us that make us kind of, even though we love them and we feel like we're a team, we feel like we're positioned in a defensive posture toward them because there's a breaking of the trust. And so that's what I'm getting from this, is that there's currently a lot of trust issues that are taking place for your divine masculine when it comes to this karmic situation that they've been involved with and dealing with. This can happen for a number of different reasons. So again, just kind of look at the situation and then look at how your look at the situation and see what the mind says about it, what the story is that your mind creates around that. And then look at the story as the observer and see what it shows you about your perception of all of these things. Because that's the most important part, and the most important element in all of this is understanding how you're viewing it from the position that you sit in and how it's affecting you. So first and foremost, just allow yourself to kind of look at the situation and then look at how you're looking at it. Okay, because that's going to teach you a lot. It's going to show you a lot about what's going on in your relationship to the events that are taking place in your divine masculine's life, or how it's shaped and unfolded, how this karmic situation has affected you and why it's affected you that way. And is there a way to alchemize and transmute that into a higher, more elevated perspective into what you can learn from your spiritual journey? Because that's why we meet our divine masculines, is to learn from this situation. So look at what's happening with them and see how that applies. But again, there is a lack of trust. There are certain boundaries that have been broken. There's a feeling of defensiveness. They are absolutely trying to have a positive outlook and a positive perspective. They're trying to have faith that things will work out as they're meant to. And the thing is they will work out as they're meant to, but not necessarily in the way that your divine masculine thinks that it's going to work out, okay? So now we're going to take a look at what the karmic of your divine masculine is experiencing and thinking, and how they're viewing the relationship, how they're experiencing it themselves. For this, we actually have the Fool, which means that the karmic is looking at this situation with somewhat naive, maybe, or immature, yet extraordinarily hopeful, and just kind of like jumping into it mentality. It looks to me like they've jumped into a situation. And this is not a bad thing, okay? Like there was an innocence, I guess. Maybe they're young, or maybe they got together when they were young. But there was definitely a feeling of naivety or innocence toward the situation. And then maybe life has settled in a little bit with some harder lessons that have, really shifted and changed the way that your divine masculine's karmic has experienced the relationship and life since then. It started out good. It started out with a newness, an excitement, a lot of hope, a lot of faith. It was a new adventure. It was a brand new beginning. And I think that they're clinging on to what was, because, and hoping that what was is what will be again. And, whether that's the case or not, it's really, I guess, in many ways up to the universe and to the choices that we make. But sometimes the writing is just on the wall. And I think in this situation, they're realizing that there's a lot of elements and a lot of factors that are beyond their control. And so there's definitely a feeling of, a feeling of unfairness almost, that they feel that things aren't fair because things haven't worked out the way that they wanted them to. They absolutely do care about your divine masculine. There's no doubt about that. And again, this can be someone they've already broken up with, or they're potentially going to break up with. It could be someone that they've been in a marriage with for a long time. It's even possible that it could be a family member or a friend, or a business partner, because karmic lessons and karmic relationships come in many different forms. But what I typically see in twin flame dynamics is that there is some kind of a karmic involved. It could be a back and forth relationship. Whatever it is, the purpose of the two of them coming together, it's not that it's less valuable than a twin flame relationship, because nothing is less valuable than anything else. It's all part of the process that like is shaping and forming and molding us. Like the lessons that we learn are so important along the way. And so the people that come into our lives as teachers, I like the word teachers better than karmic, because the karmic has kind of a negative connotation to it. And it can sometimes be used in like a degrading way, almost like if there's like less value or less importance to it, when in actuality they're great teachers. Even if they're teaching us negative things, whether we learn negative things or positive things, it's just as important to know what we do want as it is to know what we don't want. And so we need to like balance things out, and we recognize that the karmic experiences that we have with many different soulmates, they're teachers to us and we are teachers to them. So if they're a karmic to your DM is a karmic to them, which means that they're teaching each other something valuable, which is valuable to the soul, which is where you're both connected, you and your divine masculine. And so it's happening for a reason. People talk about soul contracts and soul ties and things like that. And, whether you believe that or not, everything happens for a reason. And so, this person is suffering to a degree and an element due to whatever the breakdown of this relationship is and whatever has caused it. And so it's okay to have, to a certain degree, a form of empathy. Now, sometimes karmics can be pretty downright awful, and that's just the truth. And in that situation, you can have a level of empathy that they're a soul that's going through something and they're just not at the level of consciousness that you're at. But we also have to have boundaries and, not allow people to treat us poorly. And sometimes it's really difficult to see our divine masculines treated so poorly by someone else and then wonder like, why are they involved in this when I love them so much and I could treat them so well? Well, it's because there's a lesson that needs to be learned in order for them to be balanced enough to be able to even be in any kind of a connection that's healthy. And so this karmic person is revealing a valid and important key, an element in their life. So whatever it is that's going on between the two of them, it is difficult. It is hard on both of them, and it's necessary part of the process. And so the karmic is feeling a lot of grief surrounding the breakdown of this relationship. Again, whether or not this is something that will be repaired, I don't know, right? We don't know exactly where our journeys are leading us, but I can tell you one thing. However they turn out is exactly how they're meant to turn out, because it's a paradox. Destiny and free will are intertwined and entangled with each other because both exist. Both are true simultaneously. You do have destiny, but you also have free will, which means you can change your destiny. And when you start to really understand the natural laws of the universe and how law of attraction works, you can see and understand why that's the case. So you get to this place where you just kind of know that things are working out for your highest good the way that they're meant to, and as well as for your DM. And you start to learn to embrace the journey, right? You embrace the journey, you trust the process. Okay, so this next card, we're going to take a look at your relationship with divine masculine, okay? We're taking a look right now at what's going on with you and divine masculine. And for this, we have 6 of Swords. So currently right now, I see that there is a transition, a relocation, a moving. Now, this absolutely can be literal and in the physical. Like maybe you have an actual move going on, or maybe your divine masculine's moving. They may even possibly be moving out of the house after a breakup, or, somehow there is some kind of transition taking place, very much likely in the physical world right now. But I believe wholeheartedly, I can feel it in this card, that this transition is also referring to the ascension process that is taking place between you and your divine masculine right now. Things are shifting and changing in that, you could say 5D world, right? The unseen world. What's going on internally between you and your divine masculine is the real transition, the real growth, the real like becoming of something else, something other than. It's an evolution that's taking place between you and your divine masculine. Now, how that happens is different for both of you, right? Like when the body is performing tasks, you have a left hand and a right hand. And right now, this left hand is holding this set of cards, and this is holding this one. And they're working together toward an end goal, but the tasks that each one and the way that each one is experiencing it is completely different. And that's what it's like for you and your divine masculine from the perspective of the soul. Okay, so what's going on, even if your mind doesn't fully grasp it and understand it, the soul does. And it all makes perfect sense to the soul as to why this is happening over here and this is happening over here. Two paths, one destination. Okay, and when you understand that and you embrace that, you go, okay, I get it. Like I see how it's all connected. And it's a beautiful experience because that creates inner union. Like when you have inner union, you can see and connect all those dots. You know why things are happening the way they're happening. But without that, everything's in separation still, or it appears to be. You're unable to see things from that unified space. And so that's what this twin flame journey is taking you towards, that unification within. And that's when you do see that unification without, right? You see the unity outside of yourself. And that's when everything gels and just suddenly makes sense. And you don't see your divine masculine running from you anymore. You know why things are happening the way they're happening. And you can see the bigger picture forming. And there's a lot of power in that. You guys. So now we're going to take a little bit of a look of what's been going on in the past, okay? This will pertain to, you, your divine masculine, and any karmics that are involved, right? It's the karmic situations that you're both dealing with, because you both have karmic situations, not just your DM. All right, so for this, we have 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands. So there are a whole lot of cooperative components right now that are coming together that, well, I should say have been coming together in order to align everything to where it's at right now. And as you continue to move forward, those cooperative components are going to become more and more refined, right? Because you're going to be going through all of these experiences that are refining you and helping you to hone in on your bullseye, to set a trajectory, to be in the flow, and to have isolated focus. And when you have that, all of a sudden, you start seeing massive changes in your reality. Things just start aligning. Synchronicities get unbelievably powerful. And divine feminine, you've had a lot of stuff going on. Your divine masculine's had a lot of stuff going on. The dark night of the soul, the transition process that you've been going through is not an easy one. It's not easy for you. It's not easy for divine masculine. It's not easy for any karmic that's involved either. Because when that breaking down of what was takes place, it's a painful process. You got to get rid of all the things that are not in alignment with what needs to be in order for you to step into that like divine place that's meant for you. And you got to tune into that. And so that's what is happening right now in the past. Or right, like if you look in hindsight, you can see all of like how you can start to see how this needed to happen and this needed to happen and this needed to happen and this needed to happen in order for like things to line up. So it's like you have a path, you know, and the path seems to be following, you know, a certain thing, but like all of a sudden, you know, this one little stepping stone right here seems totally out of place. And you're like, what the frick is going on? Why am I all the way over here? This is not the way that things are supposed to be. And your mind starts to question it and doubt, oh, you're not on your path. You're way out of, you know, alignment and things. This isn't how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Your mind does this to you all the time. But then as you get a little bit further down the path, you realize like, no, that stepping stone was exactly where it was meant to be. It seemed out of alignment, but in actuality, it wasn't out of alignment. Okay, so you might feel like you take detours, but Source knows what's going on. Your soul knows what's going on. And bringing the mind and the body into alignment with that is exactly what needs to happen to create inner union. It's the mind and the body that need to align with the soul. Okay, so that the soul can bring forth into this world what it came here to do. That's self-mastery, you guys. And so what can we expect then in the future? What can we expect in the future here? For this, we have Two of Wands in reverse. So plans are falling apart. Things are not happening the way people expect them to happen, and paradigms are being broken, programming is being broken up, and we're going back to like the 0 point, okay? Which is, this could seem crazy, like it could seem like everything's just, you know, blown up out of alignment. But no, it's the breaking down of what doesn't serve you well, which is not always an easy process, you guys. But what isn't in alignment with your bliss, your, you know, heaven on earth, your Garden of Eden has to fall away in order to, like layers of an onion, in order to reveal, you know, the light that's within you, that is your destiny, your destination. You know, if you notice that destination and destiny sound very similar, there's a reason for that, you know. When you break down the etymology of words, you can start to see a lot of patterns if you study that. And you know, language is brilliant and it's been set up a certain way. It can oftentimes fall short because of the duality, you know, from the world that it's been created in. But if you can kind of collapse those and reconcile those, you know, seemingly opposite things, you can start to see things with clarity and see things how they really are. And that is what your, you know, ascension path is. I recommend looking into, you know, the Eightfold Path, and kind of looking at that. There's a lot of wisdom in that about your ascension and the journey that you take as a soul here. And, you know, you do have a destiny or a destination, and it may not be exactly what your mind thinks it is. And we have to kind of shed this egoic layer, because there's a big difference between what the ego wants and what the soul wants. Okay. And it's the ego that creates, you know, resistance and confusion. And so we need to be able to see around our own ego. And all those things that you and your divine masculine have been going through are those cooperative components coming together in order to help you achieve that self-mastery. So I think that's a very beautiful, like, summary for whatever it is, you know, that you guys are going through and why you're going through it. you do see it later on that the karmics, they play a role. They're teachers, right? And you're teachers to them for whoever their twins are, right? We all have one. We all have twins and we all have karmics, right? So you and your divine masculine are on a different part of your journey, but the karmic that they're dealing with, they have one somewhere too. Okay, and you and your divine masculine are playing an important role in their ascension, wherever that might be. All right, so we have 3 and 5. 8, eightfold path. Okay, 35, 53, or 8. That's your numerology number. And let's take a quick card here for which one do we want to use? I'm going to pull from my Raven deck here. I haven't used this one in a while. It's one of my first Oracle decks because I love ravens. You guys know I love ravens. If you know me, you know I love ravens. And I've always got to get rid of all of the cards that don't. They put a lot of cards in here, and I don't want to throw them away, but they put a lot of cards in here that are not part of the actual deck. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this reading today. I think it was a good one. Nothing will ever compare to Thursday's flippin' reading, right? Thursday's reading was absolutely ridiculous with all of the 7s that showed up. It was so fun hearing all of your comments. Oh yeah, like and subscribe, please, if you haven't done so already. Just throw that in there. And also, if you guys are interested in any kind of coaching, please check out our description box below. But it was so much fun, you guys, watching all of your comments show up and all the experiences that all of you guys were having with 7s. Like, it just didn't stop. Like, the 7s just did not stop. They just kept going and going and going and going. You guys were all so awesome, so supportive. I kind of felt a little silly that I cried during the reading, but you guys all made me feel really good about that. And I was like, it just got so emotional. It was so freaking unexpected, and it was so cool. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe that it happened. It just left me so dumbfounded and speechless. And I just got emotional, and so you guys being so sweet and kind and supportive, and then just sharing all of the comments about the 7s that you were seeing and how it was showing up for you. So each one of you guys, it was showing up for you so differently. Some of you were seeing them on the freeway. Some of it had to do with, things that had happened with you and your divine masculine. There was, relevance in so many different ways. And that's the beauty of how Source works, right? It can be so cool to just watch it all unfold. So, all right. So here's the one that I pulled for you today. Hold still and let yourself be borne up upon the wings of power. You will come to no harm, for they shall raise you up, that your foot shall not strike against a stone. And that looks like that is from Psalms. That's so cool, you guys, because we kind of talked a little bit about this in the reading. This is your ascension, and that's what this is about. Like, don't worry about it. Just hold still, be still, right? Be still and just witness and watch. Be the observer, stay in presence, be in the flow, okay? We got a course coming out soon, and we're going to talk a lot about what flow is. And, when you allow that to happen, that stillness, that presence that you are to shine through, it does raise you up, and it is powerful. Okay, you won't come to harm because you realize that all things are happening for you, not to you. And it raises you up and gives you a higher, more elevated perspective. You alchemize, you guys. You go from lead to gold. And your foot shall not strike against a stone. You will not stumble. Okay? You recognize that something that seems like a stumble is actually a valuable part of the process. When you can start to see that, you just calm down, relax, and allow it just flow into the journey. You recognize the brilliance and the divine orchestration that it is, and you just enjoy it. You allow it. You see value and beauty in all of it. That's reaching samadhi. I love you guys. Thank you so much again for your support, for valuing the channel, for being a part of the journey with us. We love you guys so much. We really love all of you in the community. I know you guys are all a part of my soul family. And so thanks again. And we will see you all on Tuesday.